Hello everybody, I hope you're doing good. Hi Jessica, hi Beth, hi Berdell, hi Judy, hi Carol. I have to tell you ahead of time that the live today is not going to be very long, because on one hand it's beautiful here, it's snowing and everything is, that kind of snowing with big fat flakes that are lazy. But on the other hand, my level of pain, the level of pain on my back muscles is heightened, so I'm not sure entirely how much I can be. Hi Sharon, hi Gail, how much I can sit on the chair. But anyway, what I wanted to do with you is, because I showed you before the other molds for the snowflakes, but in the meantime I got these, and give me just a second. Not you, I keep forgetting to sign in on this computer on my Amazon as well, and it's a pain. I'm gonna have to remember and do it. But because of that I have to go like this to show you the stuff in the store. But anyway, if you go to my, and I'm actually going to have to make sure that I put this in the store. If not, I'm going to add it right after the live, because if they are, they should be at the very end of the resin thing, hopefully. No, I guess I need to add them. If you go in my Amazon influencer store and you get in the resin section, as I said before, there's all kinds of resins and there's all kinds of pigments, and then there's all kinds of tools to use with resin, and then there are all kinds of molds, and that's what I'm going to put, because the first ones are molds for big stuff. Then there are all kinds of molds for pendants and earrings and all kinds of things, and then there are molds with all kinds of different shapes, like flowers and peacocks and a little devil cat and all kinds of stuff. And this is where you're going to find these. I guess I didn't add them yet, but so remember, this is my influencer store, and I'm going to show you how to do. They're a little big, that is the truth, they are a little big, but if they work as earrings if you are in the big earrings. And by the way, I will have to do, probably I'll do it around Christmas. Because we are all with this pandemic and everything, I might do like I did for Thanksgiving, start running some playlists with former uploaded tutorials, but also go on an extended live, because a lot of people, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, a lot of people are not aren't able to get out of the house and be with their family, so we are going to do a kind of virtual Christmassy stuff, and maybe New Year as well. But I'll try and get a better position on my chair. But they are perfect for pendants, and these even larger ones are also beautiful for decorations in the tree, because they are large enough. Now, where you're going to have some issues is, and that's what I've been looking desperately for. I'm gonna have to go. I was hoping I had some here, but I guess I don't. So I'm gonna have to get, at one point, I'm gonna have to get in the kitchen to go grab a few of my needles, because when you want to do a precision resin, you know that, and I've shown you before, you've seen me before doing this, I use these disposable syringes because it's very easy to control, and I think that this one, no, it's good, because they are much easier to control and direct the resin when you're trying to work. No, this one was used. But also there are some disposable needles that actually are needles because they don't have a sharp tip. They have blunt tips, but they are like 1 millimeter. So when you need to do a resin in very, very, very thin spaces like this one, then you can use them. And I'm going to show you a couple tricks on this specific thing and what you can use to get some beautiful effects. And I'm going to use the the Chinese Ciao, because out of everything, I know for a fact that this one can be baked without warping, without yellowing, without clouding, without anything. So give me just a second to go get some needles. I am sorry. So hi Marilyn, hi Donna, hi Ellen, hi Gail. The thing is that I sometimes have to go in the kitchen because I don't keep a lot of stuff in the craft room, because I would run out of room in a second. So I have a whole series of cabinets in the kitchen where I have the bigger loads of materials, you know, like because you know very well that when you buy a larger quantity, it comes down cheaper. So if I have 200 syringes, I'm not gonna keep all 200 syringes here. I keep like 4 or 5 at a time, and the rest are in the kitchen. So let's try and go ahead with this. Now, as a piece of advice, do not try to pull the resin with the needle on. It's going to be very hard. And also, I don't remember, I know I have one of these bottles that is thickened out and one that is nice and liquidy. But before anything, let me grab my, because I always have to have a paper towel here, because obviously resin is quite difficult to remove from your crafting tile. Alright, now my next thing here is that I want to give my snowflake, and let's get this one, or this one, I'm not sure which of them I want. Let's get this one. The problem is that if I want a snowflake to be nice and pretty, I'm going to use a little bit of this interference mica powder. And why am I going to do this? Because the interference, this is UV resin. As I said before, if you put any kind of inclusion or color in the UV resin, it has to be transparent, because otherwise the light cannot get through it, and your UV resin is never going to get cured, no matter how long you keep it in the UV lamp. Okay, now I'm going to get a very, very, very thin brush, and yes, I will have some spillage, and I'm not very interested in that spillage, but I'm going to use some alcohol to clean it. My only issue here is that, yeah, you can do this just by themselves because they have an itty bitty. Let me zoom in here so you can see better what I'm doing. They have a little bitty bale made out of resin, but the idea that I want to show you is to actually put a backing on it to give it a even more iridescent-y, snowy stuff. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is to place interference blue mica powder inside here. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit time consuming, but if you want to have something really pretty, you are going to do it. Hello, Yaskara. And considering the time of the day, Finnegan is sleeping. All three kitties are in the bed. Because you know what cats do when it's cold and it's rainy or snowing or whatever, they just lay around like little burritos. And try to make sure that you get this mica all the way in. Now, if you don't have this kind of paintbrush or all that kind, you know, your hands do not allow you to do all this. Let me show you what else you can do. You can grab more more mica powder and just go in with it. You're going to leave some on the mold now, and you're not super happy about that, but it can be cleaned, so that's not an issue. And yes, to me, I mean, yeah, you can mix it in the UV resin directly, but I personally prefer to do it this way, because then I have the mica powder not all the way throughout the resin, but practically on the external layer of the resin. It's not going to get loose, that's for sure. But so with this method, you're gonna use more mica powder because you're not as precise. Just make sure. The other thing that I like about these molds is that they are very, very super soft. And remember when I was showing you the difference between the hard resin and the soft resin, and I was telling you that if your resin mold is not super soft, you will not be able to get good details on molds with a lot of tiny detail using hard resin. You need it to be soft. I mean, you have to have either the mold or the resin has to be soft. Let me make sure that I have a good focus here. I'm gonna use my finger. And there we go. This is the best definition I can get. So now what I'm going to do is to grab another piece of paper towel to have it ready to clean my syringe before putting on the needle. So I'm going to pull some of this UV resin out of the bottle. Okay, I got the wrong one. So this one is the thickened out resin. And I had, at one point I had like 3 bottles of this resin, one after the other, but I really need to put this somewhere. But as I didn't use them all right away, obviously didn't work very good. Now I'm not sure if this is because the resin itself can get whatchamacallit, expired, because it shouldn't be hardened. These are in black bottles and the daylight shouldn't get through them, so that shouldn't be an issue. This is very hard to open. Because I discovered, for example, you know the 10 minutes Illumilite white casting resin? Well, I had some, and I can tell you that after I opened it for the first time, oh god, this one is even harder. So I guess it definitely gets messed up. So don't buy a lot of UV resin, a lot of this UV resin, and keep it for later use, because it's going to get not good. Alrighty. Let's get this one. So I'm going to have to make sure that I put a note. No, because these ones were not, they were not the one that was hard as rock was like the first one that I opened, and the one that I first opened was nice and not viscous. So I guess they do get expired. Whatever they are made of doesn't last forever. Okay, no, these are newer, so They're not Xiao Xiao. I'm gonna have to get some more Xiao Xiao. And as I said, it's not that they got hardened because they were in the light, because not only are they in black bottles, so this is this one. But also, I don't know if you can see behind me, I keep my my craft room, because I do work with UV resin and because I do tape and I need the light to be focused on what I'm doing here. I have those black paper light blocking blinds. Yeah, it doesn't have a good shelf life, that is for sure. Okay, and now I'm going to start placing it. First in the middle ones. And then I'm going to start on these little, because this allows you to, using the needle as well, allows you to make sure that you don't pour too much. Because what I'm trying to do here is to keep the snowflake itself completely separate from any potential backing. Yeah, blackout shades. It's actually black paper that's all fanned and made to look like a blind. Yeah, and the other thing is that I never leave while I'm working, I never leave the bottles opened to say that, oh, maybe that's why there was light through the opening of the bottle and that's why it got cured. No, I am very, very careful to not have a bright oops, okay, that wasn't good. I'm going to have to go and wipe a little bit. But remember that you can always sand, that's not a problem. As I said in the last monthly live, yes, you can sand resin without a problem, only that you'll have to sand with much higher grits, ending with much higher grits. And what I use, I mean, the best is to use silicone oil at the very last sanding. That is, the last sanding is almost like a buffing practically. So now I'm making sure that I put everywhere. I did fill everywhere the all the little endings here. Yeah, and I started to say about the Illumilite. That one is really nice to do all kinds of ornaments on, even on regular furniture, practically, but on boxes and stuff, and that's what the iron orchid molds are especially made for. And number one, when I got it, first of all, it didn't say it was 10 minutes on the box, but on the bottles it said 5 minutes. And it was definitely 5 minutes, because you barely had time to put it in anything before it would harden. But the other problem was that after about 3 or 4 months of me opening and using some of it, next time I tried to use it, it didn't harden. First time it happened, I was like, well, maybe I didn't mix the correct quantities. So I did it again. And then I did it again, and I did it again, and nope, it didn't work anymore. So it doesn't have a lot of, it doesn't last for long after you open it. Now I don't know if it's after you open it or if it's just shelf life, because it can be any of the above. Alright, now I'm simply doing this to extract whatever's on the very top, because remember I told you that I placed a few droplets out, because once it hardens, whatever's left there is so thin that it's going to break right away. So let me grab it and put it in the lamp. And your best bet whenever you're curing UV resin, your best bet is to cure on mirror tile, because there's a reason why these are all transparent like this. When you go on a mirror tile, there will be some light reflected, and it's going to get the underneath as well. So let me get this in the lamp. And you can use the same thing. What I was actually wanted to say about what no length fine tip about that Illumilite. It's you can use that Illumilite in these to make your snowflake white, and then make a nice pearlescent-y stuff. But yeah, especially if you have any kind of inclusion, even transparent inclusions, it is much better to use a mirror tile when you're curing, because of light reflection in the thing. And I know I said that today we're gonna do the poinsettias, but as I said, my level of paint is not very good today, so we're gonna do the poinsettias next Sunday, or maybe if I manage to. See, the thing is that I can still work on tutorials like this with a lot of breaks, because I can sit for like 10 minutes, even 15 minutes without a problem, but then I start hurting, and I can go lay down, you know, for 15-20 minutes, half an hour, and my back is good, and then I come back. But when I do a live and I have to be for like 30 minutes, more than 30 minutes, it's like an hour or more, then it's not that good. Okay, let's see if it is. Yes, it is nicely. Okay, so let's go very, very delicately and get it out. Going very delicately because I don't want to break the mold and I don't want to break the snowflake, right? So I can use the snowflake as is, just like this. As you can see, it's really pretty as it is, and it has these. But the other thing that we can do is, first of all, let's get rid of these little, as I said, there will be some little I'm not sure if you can see it here, right here. See? I'm going to get rid of it. That's why I did all that patting with the paper towel, because if you pat, there whatever is left is so thin that you don't have to cut much, you don't have to sand, you don't have to do anything else, but just use your X-Acto knife to get rid of here. I didn't go all the way through. But as I said, remember that on some things it's much easier to work when you can look from above, and when I have the camera above, it's really complicated. Okay, so we have this. Now give me just a second, I'm going to grab another mold. This is a little, I have some more there, but this is a little bit too big, isn't it? To make something. Well, I'm gonna just do it free form because the one that I have here is a little bit too big and I cannot bend to search more in that thing. So what I am going to do now is first to go grab what I forgot to grab. And number one, what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to grab some of the color shift and remember that my blue flash is on the top, but I'm not going to use it on the top. I'm going to add more color on the bottom, and you can use any of the color shifts with blue, yellow, not yellow, teal, because there's even green, emerald green still looks good, but what do I want to use? Yeah, let's use the blue flash. And like all the color shifts, you need to really do a good stirring before you can use it. If you don't have the color shifts, you can do with the blue hollow in the oh god, what's the name of it? Hold on, I'm having problems. In the Lumieres, there's an iridescent blue hollow, and you can use that as well. So my first thing is I'm going to place a little bit of the blue on the back of my it should first be sanded to get rid of all the little edges here, because it's going to have some edges, but I'm not gonna stop sanding it right now, just because I want to show you the full process before my back hurts too bad. So essentially what you're trying to do, and I cannot do it here properly because of the edges, is to place, and it doesn't even have to be perfectly even all over the place. You want to place it from in spots. But your best bet is to first sand those edges, and you can sand with the, remember I'm using that modified pedicure wand, and it works perfect for sanding resin as well, not just polymer clay. Now you'll have the same thing, the same issue. You need to first sand the edges off in order to be able, if I had the edges sanded, I would just go with my finger over them instead of using a paintbrush to fill all these. But I'm trying to get as much as possible so you can see as much of the effect as possible. And I will be still, I've been looking and looking and looking for smaller snowflake molds, smaller than this, but that would be as delicate as these and as soft as these, because I remember I do have the other one, and I showed you how to do snowflakes with the other one, but the other one is not as delicate as this one, and also it is a much heavier and non-transparent mold. Okay, let's go with this one, should be just fine. Okay, for the next step, I'm going to grab some UV resin, and I think that I should need about 2.5 syringes to cover everything that I want. So, considering wastage, I'm going to use 3 syringes. Gently wipe my syringe so I don't make a mess of resin all over the place. And then I'm going to use a little bit of iridescent glitter. You can go nuts with these. Don't use too much though, because remember, the light still has to go through. Okay, and then I'm going to use a little bit of the ice resin crystal opals. And I'm going to try and make sure that I get the smaller flakes, because the larger flakes would not go through the tip of the syringe. And no, you cannot use this for the snowflakes themselves, because obviously some of the flakes are way larger than the little branches of the. Alright, so I'm going to turn this upside down. And just use my syringe. If you use just the glitter, then yeah, you can use glitter just in the resin to do the snowflake. And I'm going to pretty much freeform a round resin around it. I know I have a round mold that this would fit perfectly in, but as I said, it's on a bottom shelf and I cannot bend to grab it. Okay, now your main issue here is to make sure that you go all the way to the ends. It will not be perfect circle because, as I said, I'm just free forming. But I can always sand it if I decide to keep it. Can go in 2 layers probably with this. as I said, it's going to be not a perfect circle, right? But the idea is that your best bet is to put it face down into a perfect circle. And you don't have a circle, you can simply sand it. Let's cure it. Because the main thing is to show you the effect that you can get working something like this, because when you superpose the part that is hi Krista, the part that is just with the mica, and the color shift is optional, but I would still suggest that you do use the color shift. But excuse me, as I said, your best bet is to first sand all those little raised ridges. And remember what I was talking about, iridescent. This one is a quite special, and there's only one place online that you can find it. They don't sell on Amazon, but it is the best iridescent glitter that I've ever used. You can find a pretty good iridescent glitter with American Body Art, but as I said, don't use an opaque glitter. You need to use an iridescent glitter, one that is transparent. And I showed you before the color shift is a line in the folk art, and I forgot how many colors there are, 14 colors, I guess. And this is what happens with the color shift. It's a prism paint, practically. That's why it's called color shift, because it shifts color depending on the angle you look at it. And you have all kinds of blues and greens and pinks and violets and reds and yellows and orange, and there's even a black. Okay, it's almost done. What you doing? Okay. Actually looks cool even like this, because it looks like it's melting. I wasn't expecting it to look like this. Hold on, I need to see what I'm doing. Pretty much looks like a chunk of ice. Oh, come on. I really need to... I don't find where I put my exchange blades for the X-Acto knife, and see I broke the very tip here, so it's not as useful as it should be. But anyway, so there we go. Need to change the... And now there's one more thing that you can do, and as I said, your best bet is if it is... Oh, there's a white too. I need to get it. It's kind of hard to get all the stuff on the camera, everything that's happening in here, because there's a lot of glittery stuff glittering. Let me try and get it closer, maybe you can see it if it's very close. Even closer. There's a lot of glittering stuff, glittering all over the place. But yeah, I'm amazed that it came up so pretty just without even being round and in a circle. So if you do it round and in a circle, your next step practically is, and you can use other color, but your best bet will be black, because once you place it on black, all the happenings will happen much better. Because once you put any kind, and actually you have to be careful not to catch air bubbles, but then once you're here, the simplest thing to do is just this. Yeah, I'll have to check with Trish if she got it. I think I put it up, but I'm not sure. Okay, so now we got the black thing. You can see more happenings happening now that it is. Let me get it a little closer. It's the same principle practically. Remember that I have a very simple black opal tutorial that's based on this exact same effect, but once you put it on black, it's going to look much prettier. You'll be able to see more sparklies and more. You can put it on white as well if you so want, and it's going to still show. I mean, the moment you're going to give him some kind of backing, it's going to have way more sparkles than when it does not have. Let me check on, I don't think I have it in the store. I'll have to look for it and add it. Let's see. I've got the Glitterific, and remember I did a tutorial with the Glitterific. But no, I don't have it in the store. Let's see if Trish has it. Let me check in Trish's store. In PolyClay Play. But I'm going to look for it. Paints. Color shift. Paint. Yes, she does. She does have. So I'm gonna have to order it. My next order. And I am going to do. When is Christmas? Let me check exactly what date. So Christmas is on a Friday. So I'm going to try and do Wednesday the 23rd or Christmas Eve the 24th. I'm going to do let's go like this, and I'm going to announce it. I'm going to get a schedule, you know, with a list of tutorials that are going to play, and then I'm going to do a live, and I'm going to do 2 of them, and I'm going to do a live, and then during the live I'm going to let's do during the live on Christmas morning. I'll figure out how to do it so most people can be there and can watch. I'm going to do a Q&A, and the person who answers correctly the most questions is going to get a $100 gift certificate to PolyClay Play. How does that sound? Just for Christmas. Okay, so I hope you can try and play a little bit with all these molds. As I said, I'm going to look and try and see if I can find another mold, but I've been looking a lot, and these are the one more close up. Okay, and there's a lot of snowflake stuff, but nothing that I found was small enough. Either wasn't small enough or was not. And let me try and do this because it might be better to see. No. Oh God, this is different light. So it's completely up to you. I would be very interested to try that white and try and see how it looks on the back if you put white on the back. So we shall do that. I will announce the beginning of next week how these are going to go. So no, I will announce on the 21st of December how the whole Christmassy giveaway is going to go, and we'll go from there. Okay, in the meantime, I'm trying real hard to finish the stuff that I've been doing and I've been finishing, and now I am at the point of editing, but as I said, back pain. Okay, thank you so much, and I shall see you next Sunday, and hopefully we'll post a few tutorials this coming week. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe if you just found my channel, and please don't forget that I still need your help for Finnegan's vet, and I have a, let me link it. I made a post on my blog where I have posted all the invoices that I got from the vet, and the thing is that I borrowed money, and if I don't pay it back by a certain time, I'm gonna have to pay a lot of interest, and around the holidays it's not a good thing. Okay, so this is, if you can help me, even $5 or most welcome. And you can see how much I still have to gather, and I posted all the invoices and everything that was spent with him. Okay, thank you so much. I just posted the link directly to the blog about Finnegan. So thank you again, and I shall see you next Sunday. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye.